My wife, 35F, had a mental breakdown while pregnant and aborted our baby. She regrets the decision and wants another child. How should I, 34M, navigate this? Throwaway account for obvious reasons, and I'm sorry about the long post, but I really need a vent. Me, 34M, and my wife, 35F, have been together for 8 years. 3 years ago, we had a son who is a wild teenager, but the love of our lives. About a year ago, we made a mutual decision that it was time to try for a second child. She finally got pregnant in October last year, and we were both happy and excited. She took several pregnancy tests a day. We started looking at houses, talked about names for the baby, and planned our future together. My wife started acting weird a few weeks into the first trimester. She was a completely different person, staying in bed all day looking at her phone, hardly eating, and was apathetic, ignoring our son when he wanted attention, which was very out of character. She said that she was unsure about the pregnancy. I told her it was probably just hormones. She was very anxious while pregnant with our first son, so I didn't think too much about it. A few days later, things escalated. I came home and everything was suddenly wrong. She told me that I worked too much and that I should quit my job. She hated our apartment and the city we live in and wanted to move back to her hometown so she could be closer to her mother. Nothing was good enough. Also, she was determined to have an abortion. She became furious when I didn't agree to her demands, and we had a huge argument where we both broke down crying. I told her that we planned this pregnancy, that she didn't really want an abortion, and that the hormones were just messing with her head, but that just made things even worse. We had nasty arguments over the next few days where we both said things we now regret. We hardly spoke for a few days. I had a mental crisis, but managed to collect my thoughts while making sure our son didn't get affected by the situation. I sat down with my wife and told her that I would never agree or approve, but I would support her if she was sure about her decision to have an abortion. I also managed to convince her to go to therapy and talk to our GP. They were sadly both pushovers, my wife's own words, and basically just told my wife to do what was best for herself. Long story short, my wife didn't get better over the next few weeks. She was constantly on her phone, texting her friends and mother, who all thought I was a manipulative monster for trying to stop the abortion. She said extremely hurtful things like that she couldn't believe anything I said because I was just manipulating her, and that she planned on moving back to her mother with our son and saw no reason not to. Meanwhile, I was trying to shield our son and did all the housework while simultaneously trying to manage my job. I didn't recognize my wife, and it felt like I was living with a different person. The day of the abortion came, and I drove her to the hospital and waited during the procedure. I could tell my wife was back to her old self as soon as I saw her after the operation. She was crying in recovery but didn't say much. She broke down when we got home and screamed, my baby," while crying hysterically and clenching her stomach. She cried all night, and the next day she said that I was right all along, as she now understood how sick she was, that I was the only person who saw it for what it really was, and that I was only trying to help. She felt as if another person controlled her body and mind, and it was like waking up from a nightmare. Almost 4 months have passed after the abortion, and my wife got fired from her job due to sick leave. She stays at home all day, lying in bed or on the couch listening to audiobooks. I do most of the housework and take care of our son while working full-time, which has been exhausting. My wife has been going to a psychiatrist who said that she was probably psychotic and her feelings now are the same as a woman who were forced to have an abortion. She has also been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. She says that she feels broken and the only thing that can make her whole again is becoming pregnant and having another child. I have a hard time trusting my wife, and I'm very worried that the same thing can happen again. I feel like I can't blame her for the abortion because she was sick, but I'm so disappointed and sad about the situation. All of her friends have apologized to me, but my mother-in-law has said nothing, causing my wife to break contact with her. I feel like my wife is not mentally ready for another pregnancy, that I don't trust her like before, and that our support network from her family is virtually non-existent. My father also died a few weeks ago. He was sick for a very long time, and his death was not a surprise, but has still affected me tremendously. I feel overwhelmed with my father's death, my wife being depressed and unemployed while I'm trying to manage my job, taking care of the housework, and keeping our son fed, clean, and happy. Today, I told my wife that I was on the breaking point and didn't feel mentally ready to try for another child and wanted to wait. She freaked out and started crying, saying that she is extremely disappointed, that she lost all motivation in her life, and that she feels like she lost her one chance of having a second child. I feel so empty and sad. Everything was good a few months ago. My wife was happy. We were expanding our family, and my father was alive. Any ideas on how I should navigate this? TLDR. Wife had a mental breakdown and aborted our planned pregnancy. She regrets the decision and wants another child, but I don't think neither of us are ready.
Would I be it if I told my Baf's mom the real reason I won't be there for her daughter's marriage proposal? TLDR at the bottom. My Baf, 28F, and I, 29F, have been buffs since middle school. Super close and very much present in each other's lives. She is moving from O to CT, which will make it harder for me to see her as often because we'll be a 10 hours car ride apart and there are no direct flights. Her and her Bef, 32 meters, bought a house in his hometown 20 mins from his parents' house, and they move in on April 19th. She invited me to ride up with her parents to help her move in. The Biv called me a week ago to tell me he plans to propose at their front door before they enter the house for the first time as homeowners. When they open the door, their immediate families will be on the other side. I assumed he wouldn't want me there since it was just going to be parents and siblings, but he said he'd love for me to be there and that she would want me there. She told him to make sure I knew about the proposal 6 months in advance. Of course, he just planned this a couple weeks ago. So today I reached out to her mom and coordinated the ride up there. She was happy he invited me up. As soon as I confirmed the plans with her, the Bef called. He told me that his mother doesn't want me there because she thinks it should be immediate family only. I've never met the woman, so I know it's not anything personal. But he also asked me to do him a favor and not tell my BFF or her mom the truth about why I can't be there. I don't like the idea of lying to either of them, and I think they'll both be upset that I bailed. Also, I'm a terrible liar, and I don't think it's fair to save his mom face because she's already on thin ice with my friend and her mom. I've been crying about it all day because I was so excited to be a part of it. I think IWBTA if I told her and Slash or her mom the truth because it will cause tension as they'll definitely confront her about it. And they already aren't big fans, but Slash see she meddles and is controlling. Lastly, I told the Biff I wouldn't give them the real reason, but I am her friend before I am his. I don't want to set a negative tone for this new chapter in their lives. I tell B Slash, see, I don't want my friend to think I didn't want to be there or that I thought something else was more important. I know she will be hurt that I'm not there, and I honestly can't think of an excuse that her mom would accept or believe. My BFF has always been there when I needed her, dropping everything and driving 6+ hours or hopping on plane without me asking. I know she'd want me TLDR. Best friend's Beth invited me to her proposal, but called to tell me I can't go because his mom only wants immediate family present. I'm crushed and I know my bestie will be sad I'm not there for it. Her and her mom aren't fans of his mom, so he doesn't want me to tell either of them the real reason why I'm not going to be there. But would I be the it if I did tell her mom the truth?
Update, brother of the bride's girlfriend lost it on me and got dropped from the wedding party as a result. So I saw a lot of people saying they wanted an update and people were really kind of offering advice, so thought I would provide some closure on this saga. I decided that it would be best to speak to Jane and confirm how she wanted to play it. I told her as much as I don't want to deal with Kathy, I'm not seriously going to stick to the ultimatum. Jane said she is definitely not having Kathy as a bridesmaid and that she's sorry it even came to me having to say that. We agreed that Jane would handle any questions about Kathy and say that it wasn't about my ultimatum. On Jane and the bridesmaid thing, a lot of people were saying her aesthetic choice didn't make sense, and you were partially correct. She admitted she mostly just didn't want Elliot and Kathy to be photographed together. I told her she's a complete moron affectionately for not telling me because we could have prepared this better. Elliot and I also met up to talk. He explained that Kathy has a bad relationship with her family. That's why she was really hoping to bond with his. He also said she has a lot of insecurities and that she projected a lot of these issues onto me. As for why, he shed some light on this too. Elliot's best friend, my family by marriage, shared some things with her and kind of over-egged some stories, and it set Kathy on this path of thinking I was Regina George, basically. Elliot has tried to correct her, but she won't hear it. As for her thinking I'm trying to steal him, some of you were right. She does think that my hanging out with his family means I must not dislike him as much as I say. She thinks because I have a history of dating people close to him, 2 people years apart, that I must secretly like him. Elliot agrees this is crazy, but Kathy just won't let go of this idea. As for us walking together, I said I would support him asking Jane if he could walk with another bridesmaid, but that if she insists, I'm going to be on her side, and Elliot agreed that was fair. He said he's been trying to be understanding of her issues, but he sees now it was wrong to force the bridesmaid issue, and he's going to focus on helping Kathy in a way that doesn't involve everyone else from now on. I left it there in regards to Kathy because it's not my place to comment. Our conversation actually turned out to be pretty productive. Elliot and I aired out a lot of things from when we were kids that I guess were overdue a conversation. We'll never be best friends, but we are getting a joint Father's Day gift for his dad, so that's something. I'm still going to be as civil to Kathy because honestly she clearly has a lot bigger issues, and whatever issues she has with me and adding to it just seems pointless. That's that. All's well that ends, decently all things considered. You will definitely be watching her for any drama at the wedding, but for now that's it.